So, Nathan, what did you think of Across the Spider-Verse?
It was cool, but I don't know, this multiverse stuff, I don't get it. It's just like, what, infinite fucking universes? It never stops.
What do you mean, like, you don't get it? Like, the concept of multiverse, you don't get?
Yeah, I just, is that like what Facebook's doing?
No. No, that's metaverse. That's not multiverse. It's two different things. It's like you said, it's like just different universes with different characters. And
But maybe there's a universe where it is the same thing.
it's
You ever thought of that?
why don't we just review the movie?
Alright.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 90. And today we got an exciting one. We are going to be reviewing Across the Spider-Verse.
Damn.
Damn.
It's about time.
It's about damn time we get this movie. The anticipation.
Oh.
I mean, we talked about this movie last year
Yeah.
on Real Late Night Talks.
I know.
How
Oh.
excited we were for this. So
Yeah.
so it's crazy that we finally got to see it, and I gotta say, it lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
It lives up to its expectations. It's a solid fucking movie. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Across the Spider-Verse. I think we've talked about this multiple times. The trailers made it look great.
Yep.
It looked amazing. Voice acting was amazing. And the issue it was going into was more of the production because it was made during COVID. So it was the infamous like Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Right.
And people were like, what? There's going to be a Part 2? And then they took out the Part 1. So people were like, oh, okay. So it's just going to be a regular sequel. Nope.
Nope. Still a part one.
Still a Part 1. They just took away Part 1.
What's up with the part ones this year? This is
There's
the
a lot.
year of the part ones.
Yeah.
There's, Fast X, which is of one part.
Yeah.
There's this movie, Mission Impossible
Mission
is going to be
Impossible.
a part one.
Yeah.
This is the year of the part ones.
It's because it's going to lead to the end, Nathan. That's what studios are doing now. It's
That's the
like,
new trend in film, eh?
look, you're going to make the last installment. Can you split it into two? Harry Potter did it. Twilight did it. Fucking Hunger Games did it.
That's true. There has been quite a few big franchises that have done it in the past, but I
Yeah.
feel like as of late it hasn't really happened, and now it's like all happening at once, all these part ones, and I'm like,
I guess the most recent example would be Avengers. They just didn't put Part 1 in it.
True.
Because Infinity War and Endgame were shooting back to back, I think.
true.
But Across the Spider-Verse might be the first one in animated form to do this, where they're making both of them back to back, which is insane because it's animation. And
Yeah.
that shit takes much longer to do.
Especially this kind of animation, like the attention to
Holy
detail on this
shit.
film. I mean, let's start with the animation. It's incredible.
11 out of 10.
It's 11 out of 10. It's better than Into the Spider-Verse. They change styles mid-film, depending on what character you're sitting with. They change the style, and it just works so well. This is the new definition of comic book movie.
Yes.
This is a comic book turned movie in like the best way you could ever do it, I think.
To the point where there are details in it where it's like, oh, this little box
Yes.
describing what's happening. It's like, that is so accurate to comics, man.
This
I
is
just
the
can't.
new definition of comic book movie.
Because I used to think before the Spider-Verse films came out, the closest we really got to it was like Sin City.
Uh-huh.
I guess you can argue maybe like Dick Tracy from the 90s.
Right.
But even then, it was like the limitations of live action really go so far because
Yeah.
of pacing.
Yeah.
Because when you move like that, it's like the amount of frames I'm doing right now is a lot. But for Spider-Verse, it's like, no, 2 frames. You could just do that.
Yep.
And it looks so good.
I know.
Because the eye can process so much.
Speaking of pacing,
Yes.
whoa, this film moves fucking fast.
It's I felt so old at times.
Bro.
Because the introduction, I love, first off, my favorite thing about this film is as fast as it is, as much as it is part 1, it still has great character arcs.
Yes.
Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales, in particular, have great character arcs.
You care about both of them.
Yes. Especially because we're in that fatigue phase of superhero films. I feel like we've been saying that for years now, but I feel like it's way more noticeable now because of the multiverse concept. Multiverse films, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they're gimmicks.
Yep.
To me, they're about as genuine as oh, what if the Flintstones met the Jetsons? What if Jimmy Neutron met Timmy Turner? Like, it's about as gimmicky as that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
What if the Flash met Michael Keaton Batman?
Yep.
But this film broke that by actually giving some genuine emotions to it. It gives a very postmodernistic premise and gives genuine emotions to it, which I love. Gwen Stacy and her father's relationship, how that's being dealt with. Miles Morales dealing with his superhero life and his parents.
Yep.
It's beautiful. There's actually moments in it where it's just people talking about what's going on in their lives.
For as fast as it goes, they know when to slow down those emotional moments. They don't just skip over them.
Yes.
And they know when to slow down this movie for as fast as it is, and that's the reason we care about these characters. It is the pacing is done incredibly well. Yeah, while really fast at times, and sometimes maybe you say, yeah, there's a little bit too much going on. But also, like, in my head, I'm like, that's a comic book movie. Like, a comic book movie. Comic books have a lot of shit going on.
That's true.
These big epic fights that never really translate to movies really well.
Yeah.
And this movie does the best the movie could do at that, I think.
I always think of like the scene in Civil War when they're all fighting and stuff like that, and it's like you compare because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do it just like the comics," and then you see Spider-Verse fighting all the Spider-Man. It's like, man, Civil War looks like fucking turtles compared to this shit, man.
Exactly.
It's actually because of animation.
And this is, if there was a bunch of Spider-Men fighting, this is how fast it would go. That's realistic. You know what I mean? When I'm reading a comic, that's what I'm thinking about in my head. That's what my head is filling in, right? So I think it's forgivable for it being a little bit too much at times just because of the nature of the film and how it's like a true comic book movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like for me, it was more just like it was so much, and I look, I love it. I love it, guys. Don't hate on me, but there are times where I feel much older because of the fact that it's like fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. Because I remember it was like Gwen's fight, then it goes into the drama, then it goes to Miles Morales fighting the Dot Man. Is that his name?
Spot?
Spot.
Yeah.
Which I like the character. I don't know what tone they're going for with that character, though.
Yeah,
are they going comedic?
I'm a
or are they
little
going
bit confused
serious?
on Spot. Yeah,
Because it's clearly
he
making.
wasn't very menacing, but he was cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's making fun of like the Iron Man 3 No Way Home or Far From Home with Mysterio. That type of joke of just like, oh, you threw a bagel at me, now you're my worst nightmare.
Right.
It's like, okay, it's the Incredibles. It's the but I don't know how serious they're gonna take that character. If he's gonna be super serious or is he still gonna make quips in the next film? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where you go with Spot. I can't say I cared too much about Spot.
He definitely leaves the film like real quick.
Yeah.
Because like remember, it's like after he leaves, which was an amazing fight scene, action set piece. I'm
It
like,
really was.
Damn, like I'm tired, I'm sweating and stuff like that.
The middle of this film almost felt like the end of this film. Like
Yeah.
it could have been an end of this film.
Absolutely. It's crazy how like I'm sweating and stuff. I'm like, damn, how are they gonna top this? And then I thought, oh shit, they gotta still go to the Spider-Verse shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah,
And then when that happens, it's almost like if you were running a 5K run and you're like, all right, I'm almost done. And then your trainer's like, what do you mean you're almost done? It's 15.
Yeah.
You gotta run 15K, Nathan. And you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it is like, what the fuck? And I was kind of thinking the same thing, like, yo, how are they going to, that's not the climax, then what is?
Yeah. And it's not like I hated anything after that. I loved it.
Yeah, no, the thing is, it's an enjoyable experience all the way through,
Yeah.
and it continues to surprise you, and it continues to up the stakes in like a really fun way. But wow, it's exhausting. I feel you when you say you feel old watching this movie.
Yeah.
And you know, let's talk about the hype around this movie a little bit because
Yes.
I saw it last weekend,
Okay.
so it had been out for a little bit, a couple of days, I think.
Yeah.
And man, every review I see is like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, masterpiece, masterpiece, masterpiece.
Yeah.
So my expectations were really high coming into it, and also I think we've talked about this briefly. I didn't love the first one too much.
I know you briefly mentioned that.
Yeah,
Did you rewatch it or?
I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't
okay.
yet, no. But now I want to go back for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I was like, man, the expectations are high, but I know people love the first one. I didn't really like that one, so I was
Mm.
kind of nervous going into this movie. And I gotta say, I like it a lot more than the first one. I think it's a lot more memorable.
Okay. I'm gonna go for the opposite opinion in that. I feel like from what I remembered from Into the Spider-Verse, that's a much better film in terms of emotion and action because of one word. And I'm gonna say it, and a lot of people are gonna either love me or hate me regardless, even if they agree. Restraint. I feel like you need to have restraint at times in order to pull the emotions more. I felt like I felt more emotion for Kingpin, Miles Morales, and Into the Spider-Verse than I did in the sequel. Not to say that Miles didn't have a great character arc. He did. I just didn't feel the hard emotions as I did in the first movie,
Uh huh.
which some people might agree, some people might disagree. But I really do feel like that. I love the relationship of Peter and Miles in the first one.
Me too.
A Jedi young trainer or whatever. It's like, oh, let me do it this way and stuff.
That is my favorite part of the first film.
And the team that they have in Into the Spider-Verse. It's very simple. It's like Spider-Man Noir. There's Pig Spider-Man, like little small characters like that. And I like that because it shows that the world is big, but we're only going to show you this much to have a sense of restraint. In Across the Spider-Verse, they don't have that advantage. What they have is literally everything.
They show you everything.
If you are a Spider-Man fan, first off, you've probably seen this film like 20 times already.
Yeah.
If you're watching this episode and are a Spider-Man fan. But they literally show every type of Spider-Man you could think of.
Yeah. The Easter eggs, the
Holy
references
shit.
are off the hook. I think I could watch this movie 5 times and not catch them all.
Yeah.
Easily.
And that's the thing too, is like people are like, you gotta pause this movie to really like indulge in it and stuff. It's like I think it's nice to see those Easter eggs and stuff
Yeah.
and pause, but that's not what films are supposed to do. Films are having that rewatchability value. You should at least process like, oh, I noticed this now, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's what people are referring to.
Yeah, this is a rewatchable film.
Yeah.
This is a very, very rewatchable film. The pacing is quick as hell. It's like an enjoyable film to watch throughout, and the Easter eggs will just keep you coming back. It's like you see something new every time you watch it.
Yeah. Very bold of them to make a film over 2 hours that's animated.
Very,
Very-
very bold.
Very rare do you see that. I think the last film I think that reached the 2 hour mark that was animated was Incredibles.
Yeah. It's really cool to see, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see animation, an animated film coming out over 2 hours. Great film, like great voice acting, sick animation, and I feel like this movie is like really pushing animation to its limits and
Oh,
pushing
yeah.
animation forward.
Like in terms of what animated film should look at, I think we're in that day and age where Into the Spider-Verse is like our generation's Lion King, where people looked at Lion King in the 90s and they were like, oh, we really got to step up our fucking game.
This just changed the game.
Into the Spider-Verse, it's like, oh, we really got to, like, Puss in Boots, like Mitchell versus the Machines. Like, we actually got to put some style to this fucking movie. I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. Did you ever notice in the beginning of the movie, did you hear anything that Gwen said?
So the audio, let's talk.
Okay, because I thought I was the only one. It gave me Tenet vibes at times where I'm just like, Gwen, I don't know what you're saying, but this scene is really fucking cool.
I did have a couple of moments where I was struggling to hear the audio.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter echoing kind of the same thing.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
It wasn't just us. No, it wasn't just us. I saw your Letterboxd review.
Literally felt
It
like
was
Tenet at times.
Very
Which I
funny.
enjoyed Tenet, but at the same time, I don't know what the fuck Robert Pattinson's saying half the movie.
Yeah. I don't think this movie has it that bad. I think it's like a couple of like instances where I was like, what's up with the mix here?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the mix. I don't know what it is.
I hope it's just a theater thing. I hope when people buy this on Blu-ray, they can clearly hear
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is a theater thing.
I hope so. It's a minor nitpick amongst a great film that has so much heart, so much emotion, and so much hard work. Do you know how long that Spider-Man versus all the Spider-Man took?
Oh no, I have no idea, but I could imagine.
I read that it took like 4 years to animate.
Oh my god.
It took 4 years.
But that scene is epic.
It's beautiful.
The pacing doesn't slow down for a second. you're going through the multiverse, and all the Spider-Men are behind him, and it's like the Easter eggs are being thrown into that too. Like you're in this high-paced action scene with Easter eggs just being thrown at you left and right, and that scene is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's crazy how you're watching a film now and like you see the live action Uncle Ben.
Bruh.
What the fuck?
You didn't like that?
No, here's
They
the
got
thing.
me.
Here's the thing that got me in terms of its cleverness, because the concept of multiverse, I already said it was like gimmicky. But what they do for this one is they go a little interesting take on it. Where Miguel's character, I love Miguel's character, played by Oscar Isaac. I love, what is his name? Spider-Man 2099 or whatever. There's a lot of fucking Spider-Man in this film. I apologize if I misname one of the Spider-Man in this film.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman was great too.
There's a lot of spider.
There's a lot of spider.
There's a lot of spiders in this
People.
film.
There's a lot of spider in this film. If you suffer from arachnophobia, please do not watch Into the Spider-Verse or any Spider-Man film for that matter.
Yeah, this might
Because
not
there
be
might
a movie.
feature spiders in it. But Miguel's character I love because his plan is essentially all the Spider-Man need to have the same canon.
Yeah.
And it kind of contradicts his own because the reason why he's saying that is because like I tried to change mine and I lost my daughter, I lost my wife and stuff like that. So Miles, you can't have that. Your dad has to die. Your dad. And I thought of this. I don't know if the film was intending it or not, but I felt like it was a meta commentary on how every film needs to follow the same fucking law of you have to do it this way. Like Superman has to smile.
Yeah.
Spider-Man always has to save the day with no casualties.
Yes.
This type of bullshit, and I hope this film comments on it and comments on how stupid it is. And the message of Across the Spider-Verse, which I got from, was Miles, make your own story.
Yes.
Everyone is a hero in their own right. We are all wearing invisible capes, you know, and if you seek an idol, look around you. Everyone is a beautiful person inside and out.
That's a cool outlook on it. I think it is a little bit of a commentary on that. Like
Yeah.
a Spider-Man movie shouldn't have to follow the Spider-Man rules.
That's the crazy thing. And I remember Stan Lee, there was an interview with Stan Lee talking about it, where it's like the greatest thing that I did with Spider-Man was have him fully covered. So he could be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
He could be any race, he could be any culture, he could be any type of person you want.
What a genius, Stan.
And I'm like, and he's like, and that was just accident because I just didn't want to paint the the sleeves and shit. I was just like, oh, let's just make him Spider-Man. And
What a
full credit there because Stan Lee is very much the excelsior of comic book writers and whatnot.
course.
So I think about that, and I was watching this, and Miles Morales' character, he's so good. I hope more people know him, similar to how people know, like, in terms of Green Lantern, like John Jones or something like that. You know, like a new generation looks at this different variation of Spider-Man.
Oh, I think it's happening. I
Right?
think Miles Morales is huge right now.
Wasn't he in the video game too?
Yeah.
Fucking A.
I think there's another one coming out that's just Miles,
Woo!
which is dope.
Nice.
It's exciting. Miles Morales, a great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think there is a generation of kids that's their Spider-Man, which is amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm curious what you think the next one is going to do, just
What
in
do I-
general.
I mean, I want a good satisfying conclusion.
Yes.
But it's hard to say I want a bigger fight scene. You know what I mean? It's like how
Well,
do you top this?
That's the thing. I was thinking about that
That's
too
what I'm thinking
because
about.
I was comparing this to the Matrix sequels, where the first Matrix everyone remembers, it's a classic, and then they do the sequels, and they shot those back to back.
Yes.
So after Matrix Revolutions, or is it Reloaded? Whichever
Oh,
one.
that's another one.
Matrix
that-
2.
Yeah.
Matrix 2, and then it's like, what do they do with Matrix 3? Here's what you do. You either do two things. You double down on the action, which numbs the audience to the point where you're fucking bored, or you do something so different that the audience doesn't know what the fuck you're gonna do. I pray to God Spider-Verse does the second part of that. I do not want a Matrix Revolutions ending of just, oh my God, the Spot and Miles fighting in this beautiful animation, which is great. But once you hit a certain time limit, you're like, we've seen everything. This is too much, man.
Yeah. What I think the direction they should go is you can't top the fights.
Yeah,
we've
no.
seen the best. We've seen like you can do equal, but you can't top the fights.
Exactly.
I think what you can do is top the emotion of this film and make the conclusion to this a more emotional conclusion.
Yes.
Sit in those moments, focus on a few characters maybe instead of everyone,
Yeah.
and just give us like more emotion behind it, and strengthen the arcs that are already great in this film.
And I feel like they're going that direction. I had hope there because, first off, I thought the film was going to end like multiple times. I was like, all right,
Me
is
too.
this the cliffhanger with Gwen being like, I'm not in the wrong? Oh, no. Oh, is it Miles? Oh, no, he gets knocked out. Okay,
I thought it was gonna end multiple times, and then also when it ended, I wasn't expecting it to
Same.
end there.
I was like, oh, that's the cliffhanger. Okay.
I wasn't expecting it to end there.
It's not a bad cliffhanger
No,
either.
it's not bad at
I
all.
kind of fuck with that, but it was just like I literally thought it was like 5 endings ago.
Yeah.
But what they do is they have Gwen with the original crew from Into the Spider-Verse. I'm like, okay, so we're going back to
a more
smaller.
intimate crew.
Yeah, Miles and his doppelganger. They're probably going to have interesting conversations and may or may not work together. And he may talk to his alternative uncle in that one. And it's probably going to be really emotional. It already seemed like it was leading there.
There you go. So there is
So-
lots of opportunities
Yeah.
for a more intimate film.
I'm more confident in this crew making a satisfying end to the trilogy than like the Matrix Revolutions, because it just seemed like they doubled down on that.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is just action on
Yeah,
action.
I definitely believe in these guys. I think this first part is a great world building movie. They showed us everything.
Literally.
They showed us the whole world.
You cannot say, I wish they had that. No, they did it.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you wish they had for the fans,
Yeah.
there's something in here for every single person, any Spider-Man fan. Whatever you read, whatever you watch, it's something's in here for you. And I think the first one's a great world building movie. The second
Yes.
one, I think they could really hit home with the emotions and the Miles and Gwen arc. Finish those off in a good emotional way.
Oh, I just noticed your questions of where does this rank in all-time Spider-Man movies? Oh, dude, we're gonna go for these hot takes.
Ooh.
All right, Nathan, you go first. You're the one asked who wrote it.
All right, all-time Spider-Man movies. Listen, I'm a Tobey stan.
Yes!
You guys know it. You guys know I'm a Sam Raimi stan. This ain't going before Spider-Man 1. It ain't going before Spider-Man 2 either.
Ooh,
I'm sorry. Those are I don't know if a movie could ever go before those. A Spider-Man movie could ever go before those, just because of what those movies meant to me as a kid.
yeah,
Like we were talking about, some kids are growing up with this as their Miles. This
Yeah.
is their Spider-Man.
Uh,
Toby
yeah.
was mine, and that's always going to be like that. So I think I like it so much that I'm going to go, my top 3 are Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and this film right here,
Across the Spider-Verse. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It made my top 3 Spider-Man movies,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Tom and Andrew couldn't do that. Tom
Tom
and Andrew couldn't do that.
And also it did that while I'm a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
So
That's impressive.
there's no nostalgia behind it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I know it's a solid-ass movie. I really enjoyed it, and it's in my top 3 Spider-Man movies.
Damn.
Where's your list?
My list, my favorite Spider-Man film, still to this day, is Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire. Because there's always that scene where Uncle Ben is talking to Peter, and he says, like, take my hand, son. I'm like, okay. That is the most emotional Spider-Man scene of all time,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love it. That
It's such
gets
a
me.
real movie.
It's, ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Is it, am I biased? Hell yeah, I am.
Of course
But
we are. Of course we are. You come here for opinions, not facts.
Exactly. If I was going for a biased Toby opinion, I'd say, dude, I'd watch Spider-Man 3 over the Tom Holland films, man.
Yeah.
I know it's not as good, but I don't
I
care.
would every day. I
Yeah.
got Spider-Man 3 over
So-
all Tom Holland films.
I'd say Spider-Man 2. Then I'd say Into the Spider-Verse is my second. And then I would say third is a tie between the first Spider-Man and Across the Spider-Verse in terms of, like, enjoyment.
Okay. It's a respectable list.
I'm trying my best, guys. I think the tie for Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire one, and Across the Spider-Verse is valid. A lot of people say the Tobey films are too cheesy, man. I'm like, okay, man, whatever.
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 Let us know your list in the comments. I'm
Yeah.
interested to know, because now we're getting to the point where Spider-Man fans are getting spoiled. Lots of great Spider-Man fans.
Spider-Man, Batman.
Batman, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man is getting to the Batman point where it's like, you got lots of great films and fans have a bunch of different opinions. So I'd be really interested to know your list. Let us know the top 3 Spider-Man movies of all time in the comments, please.
Hell yeah.
Quickly, let's go into some best scene of this movie.
Oh, the best scene? Ooh, the best scene of this movie. It's an obvious one, but I like when Miles is running away from all the Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, visually, my mouth was open in the theater.
Same.
My mouth was open.
When
and
Miguel like fucking carries Miles and like slams him down, I'm like,
Some
I
of the
felt
most-
the weight.
some of the most impressive animation I've ever seen ever.
Yeah.
So that scene has to take the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Voice acting standouts.
Voice acting standouts.
I remember in the first one, everybody talked about Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir as
Yeah.
like the first standout.
That's true.
This one, I'm gonna say Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
He's dope
honestly,
in this movie.
Spider-Punk, yeah. I'd say, ooh. I don't know. I'm an Oscar Isaac fan. I like Miguel.
Cool. Miguel's great too.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Miguel's great too.
Damn.
Favorite Spider-Man character in this film is yours, Miguel?
Probably. Because the thing with Miguel's character is similar to Thanos, where he thinks he's doing right, and you can tell that there's something more to how flawed the plan is, but he's so passionate about it because of his family and what he dealt with and stuff like that.
I want to see more Miguel in the sequel.
Yeah.
Miguel's great. You could tell he's a character with layers and like
Oh,
this
yeah.
jaded past, which is the definition of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like Miguel. I'd say my favorite character. I don't know. I really love what they just do with Miles. Miles is just my guy in
They
this
really are
movie.
doing
He's
a lot with this
awesome.
character. Yeah.
He's awesome. Favorite Easter egg.
Dude, favorite Easter egg? Lego Spider-Man.
Dope.
Fun
one.
fact about that one, that was animated by a 14-year-old kid.
No way.
Yeah. So fuck you, AI. 14-year-old kid could do better than you.
My favorite Easter egg. My favorite Easter egg. Donald Glover.
Yeah, that's true.
Donald Glover.
Yo,
who,
shout out to Donald Glover for being the reason why Miles Morales is more like,
Facts.
yeah.
Donald Glover for Spider-Man campaign back in the Twitter days. Oh, man, that was lit. I remember seeing that all over.
Credit where credit's due.
And I was a huge Childish Gambino fan at that time,
Yeah.
and I was really rooting for that to happen. And we never got in live action, but it's a really cool Easter egg to see him in this film.
Yeah, it was nice.
All right, let's cap this off with our review, our score out of 10. Nev?
You're giving me the oh fuck! Don't kill me. I still love this film. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
It's still great.
Yeah, it's a great film.
I just Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, I prefer more.
That's cool. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. I
Booyah.
like it more than Into the Spider-Verse. A lot of positives here and a lot of potential for part 2 to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10 for me.
Hell yeah.
I think they line everything up. They build the world perfectly. And I'm really excited to see how this concludes. So it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
We both recommend it, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Definitely go see it. And it's a theater movie. Go see it in
See
theaters.
this in theaters, guys.
Go see it in theaters for sure. Thank you for watching this episode of the Real Talk Podcast. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to your boys. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace.